Welcome to the AI and Corpus-aided self-directed interactive English pronunciation training course. This is part 2 of the suprasegmental session, focusing on word stress, intonation, and rhythm. We'll continue following the same learning procedure as before. First, let's use a corpus to compare and identify common suprasegmental features among learners with different language backgrounds. You can access the corpus by scanning the QR code or using the link provided. As mentioned in Part 1, the corpus provides detailed phonological annotations on 5 suprasegmental features. Our focus today is the last two, lexical stress and intonation. Still, we use the search function in the corpus to see how many Hong Kong learners have the features of inappropriate lexical stress and intonation. Intonation seems to pose greater difficulties than word stress for Hong Kong learners in the corpus. As we can see from this summary based on the corpus data, almost all the dialectal groups of Chinese mainland learners, not just Hong Kong learners, show inappropriate intonation. The analysis of lexical stress and intonation is based on 5 sentences from the passage reading aloud task. For lexical stress, the focus is on multisyllabic words. Can you spot the multisyllabic words here? Try reading them aloud. Which words are difficult for you in terms of stress placement? Here are the stress patterns for these multisyllabic words. The bold letters indicate the stressed syllable in each word. Let's move on to intonation. You might notice that the 5 sentences are of different types. What intonation patterns would you use for these sentences? Here are the suggested intonation patterns. You can access the marking scheme on each speaker's data page for passage 1. Now, let's listen to some recordings of inappropriate word stress and intonation by learners from different backgrounds. Please pay attention to the blue line in the graphic illustration. It represents the pitch contour, which is helpful for interpreting the pitch patterns used by the speakers. Among the limited cases of inappropriate word stress, the noun accent is commonly stressed inappropriately. Here's an example from a Hong Kong learner.
Does this mean that accents can't be changed?
Please look at the pitch contour corresponding to the word accents. It shows clearly that the second syllable is higher than the first. This indicates the stress is on the wrong syllable. This is an example from a Mandarin speaker who pronounced the word native with inappropriate stress.
Most native speakers of English can, for example, recognize people from France by their French accents.
This example is from an Indonesian speaker who stressed the word recognize inappropriately.
Most native speakers of English can, for example, recognize people from France by their French accents.
Now let's listen to a Hong Kong learner's recording and see what intonation pattern she used for the closed choice alternative question.
Will you manage to make progress or will you just give up? Progress, give up.
Here's a recording of a Mandarin speaker who used inappropriate intonation for a tag question.
But old habits won't change without a lot of hard work, will they?
In addition to word stress and intonation, rhythm is another key prosodic feature. Although it is not annotated in the corpus, you can still use the corpus data to compare how learners and native speakers differ. Please listen to the following 2 recordings, one from a native speaker, one from a learner. Pay attention to how each syllable is articulated. Are all syllables given equal weight, as in syllable-timed languages like Mandarin and Cantonese? Or are some squeezed together, reflecting the stress-timed rhythm of English? You might also reflect on your own speech.
Will you manage to make progress or will you just give up?
Will you manage to make progress or will you just give up?
Now let's turn to AI tools and see how they can help with these features. We've introduced Murph in previous sessions. Let's have a quick recap on how to use it to generate samples, specifically for word stress. Taking the word accent as an example, we can use Murph to generate recordings of this word in isolation, or embed it in a phrase or sentence.
Accent. Have an accent. Why do people usually have an accent when they speak a second language?
Please note that some words, like accent, have multiple pronunciations depending on their word class or form. When such a word appears in isolation, the tool has no context to determine which pronunciation to use. To get the one you want, you can modify the pronunciation by double-clicking the word to highlight it and clicking on Pronunciation to edit. From there, you can either select a pronunciation from the suggestion list or create a custom one by inputting IPA or alternative spelling. After clicking Create and Apply, the word will turn red, indicating the pronunciation modification is complete. Here is the revised sample.
Accent, 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 accent.
Last session, we focused on connected speech for the free speech task. This time, please pay attention to word stress of multisyllabic words, along with pitch and timing patterns in each thought group.
In this November, I visited Osaka with my husband for 10 days. It has been 5 years since we last traveled, because of the pandemic. Therefore, we were so excited to be visiting our favorite country again.
After listening and imitating, we can then use chatbots like Copilot and Doubao to get feedback. Let's give both Copilot and Doubao the same prompt. Please identify any inappropriate word stress in the following speech and check their responses. This is the feedback from Copilot. And this is from Doubao. As always, keep in mind that some responses may not be accurate. At the end of the session, we would like to introduce Speaker Coach. Similar to Immersive Reader, it also provides a private and personalized environment where users can practice reading speech and presentation and offers automatic, real-time feedback while learners are practicing. Let's watch the demo video on how to use Speaker Coach.
In this video, we will guide you step by step through the use of Speaker Coach to improve your presentation skills. Now, let's get started. Open your presentation in PowerPoint for the web, and please ensure that you've signed in with a personal Microsoft account. Click on Slideshow tab on the ribbon, below the title bar, then select Rehearse with Coach. The PowerPoint is displayed in a full screen view and a small window is shown in the bottom right corner of your screen. When you're ready, click on Start Rehearsing in the lower right corner. Make sure to enable the Show Real-Time Feedback option below the button, so you can receive on-screen guidance from Speaker Coach while rehearsing. For example, when I used frequently in my speech, the coach reminded me by providing a real-time prompt like this.
Thank you for your attention to our presentation.
Besides, the coach also gave feedback on the words I mispronounced, with playable recordings from native speakers.
Firstly, let's take a close look at the participants. 19 participants were involved in this study, including 4 native speakers of Southern British English and 15 Hong Kong Cantonese ESL learners.
Participants. Participants.
Well, now let me start here again. Now let's take a close look at participants. And their production of English CSPs were included in order to set a benchmark for both assessment and a comparison. As for Hong Kong participants,
Assessment. Assessment.
well, let me restart here. Their production of English CSPs was included in order to set a benchmark for both assessment and comparison.
When it noticed a slower pace, the coach prompted me to speak a bit faster in terms of pace.
Within, with over 97% of the words falling within the K1 and K2 word lists.
When the coach noticed that I was reading the slides word for word, it recommended avoiding such reliance. Instead, it encouraged me to summarize the key points in a more original manner.
Namely, the beginning of data collection and 12 months later.
Additionally, the coach recognized my progress and offered motivating feedback, such as, "Off to a good start. Keep at it."
Well, a one-way ANOVA was employed to examine the differences of CSP occurrences among native speakers and Hong Kong learners at 2 different time points for each CSP category and overall CSPs. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
When you're done rehearsing, just press Escape key on your keyboard to exit the current view. And you'll receive a report that includes a summary of your performance, including details on the amount of time spent, the number of slides rehearsed, your pace, fillers, repetitive language, inclusiveness, pitch, originality, and pronunciation. In terms of pronunciation, it's worth noting that in addition to the list of frequently mispronounced words, the coach offers the opportunity to listen to recordings of native speakers pronouncing these words at both fast and slow speeds, and also allows users to practice pronunciation while receiving instant corrective feedback.
Elicited. Elicited. Elicited.
Elicited.
Contemporary. Contemporary.
Contemporary. Contemporary.
Hopefully, rehearsing with presenter coach and PowerPoint for the web to receive real-time feedback can greatly assist in improving your presentation.
Now please practice one short paragraph using Speaker Coach yourself. Here is the step-by-step guidance. Please note that the rehearsal report cannot be downloaded, so you can take screenshots of your reports and compare your performance each time. That's the end of the session. Thank you.